So you want to start an ad agency that makes you $1 million. In 1985, a 40-year-old British accountant named Martin Sorrell bought a controlling stake in a small London shopping cart manufacturer called Wire and Plastic Products for £676,000. About $900,000 at the time. He did not know anything about making shopping carts. He did not care. He needed a publicly listed shell company. Over the next 30 years, using that shell as an acquisition vehicle, Martin Sorrell bought J. Walter Thompson, Ogilvy and Mather, Y&R, Gray Global Group, Kantar, Ketchum, Group M, and dozens of smaller creative shops. He renamed the shell WPP. He built it into the largest advertising holding company in the history of the world. At peak, WPP had a market capitalization of approximately $30 billion. Sorrell's personal net worth crossed $1 billion. In April 2018, he was ousted from the company he'd built over a disputed personal conduct investigation. 6 weeks later, he founded a new agency holding company called S4 Capital and started the entire acquisition roll-up again. Martin Sorrell did not start with a creative idea. He did not draw pretty pictures. He did not write clever headlines. He started with $900,000, a publicly listed shell, and an acquisition strategy. And he built one of the 4 companies that today place most of the advertising you see in your entire life. That is the ad agency business. If you are willing to run it as a company, not an art project, it can genuinely make you a millionaire. There are 4 of those companies now. In December of 2024, Omnicom Group announced a $30 billion all-stock acquisition of Interpublic Group, the biggest ad industry deal in history. When that deal closes in mid-2026, the Big 4 becomes the Big 3. Omnicom plus IPG, headquartered in New York, will be the largest advertising holding company on Earth, with combined revenue of about $25 billion and roughly 250,000 employees globally. Publicis Groupe of Paris is second, WPP is third and shrinking. Together, those 3 companies own most of the creative agencies, media buyers, and public relations firms in the world. Every major advertisement you have ever seen, the Super Bowl commercials, the streaming ad breaks, the billboard on your morning drive, the sponsored post you scrolled past this morning, was almost certainly created and placed through one of them. But you do not have to build one of them to become a millionaire. You have to build the kind of specialty agency they eventually buy. If you started an ad agency tomorrow, this is how the math would actually work. Then there is the commission model, the mechanism that has funded the entire ad industry for 100 years. In 1917, the American Association of Advertising Agencies formalized a standard 15% commission on media placements. Client pays the agency the gross rate of a magazine ad or a TV spot. Publisher pays the agency 15% commission for placing the buy. Agency does the creative work for free. The commission covers everything. That arrangement built the industry. That specific 15% arrangement broke down in the 1990s when Procter & Gamble and other big advertisers demanded negotiated fees instead of blanket commissions. But the underlying model, agency negotiates a media buy, agency takes a percentage, client never sees the exact number, persisted. In 2016, the Association of National Advertisers published a report exposing systematic undisclosed rebates flowing from publishers back to agencies. Agencies were, in effect, being paid twice, once by the client for the buy, once by the publisher for the volume. The industry had to reformulate. Today, an ad agency makes money through 5 overlapping streams: monthly retainer fees from anchor clients, project fees for one-off campaigns, negotiated media commissions on ad buys, bonuses tied to performance metrics like sales lift, and, if it is unethical or old school, still flowing rebates from publishers. The startable numbers, if you actually opened an ad agency tomorrow, look like this. Realistic seed capital, $10,000 to $50,000. Realistic first-year revenue with 1 to 3 clients, $150,000 to $500,000. Typical gross margin, 50 to 60%. Labor is the biggest cost. Founder pay-taking break-even, month 6 to 18. First million in agency revenue, usually 24 to 36 months in for a competent founder. That first million is where the leverage starts. Then there is the growth ladder, the specific staircase every successful independent ad agency climbs. Stage 1. Solo consultant. You quit your corporate job, you freelance for one big client, a former employer, a friend of a friend, a niche you know cold. Revenue $100,000 to $300,000. You do everything yourself. Stage 2. Boutique. You add 2 or 3 more clients. You hire 3 to 8 people. Revenue $500,000 to $2 million. You still do the creative direction, but you delegate execution. Stage 3. Mid-market. You add a real management layer, 10 to 40 employees. Revenue $2 to $10 million. Founder becomes CEO, hires a chief operating officer, stops writing ad copy. Stage 4. Scale up. You expand from your original niche into adjacent services, 40 to 200 employees. Revenue $10 to $50 million. This is where a founder starts getting acquisition offers. Stage 5. Exit. A holding company or private equity firm offers you 2 to 8 times annual revenue for the agency. If your specialty is hot, digital, healthcare, retail, e-commerce, the multiple is high. If you're a generalist creative shop, the multiple is low. Real recent examples. In 2019, an independent creative agency called Droga 5 was sold to Accenture Interactive for approximately $475 million. The founder, David Droga, personally walked with an estimated $300 million from the sale. In 2012, WPP paid Sorel $540 million for Akka. In 2015, Publicis paid $3.7 billion for a digital shop called Sapient. In 2019, Publicis paid $4.4 billion for a data marketing firm called Epsilon. Hundreds of specialty digital, healthcare, and social media agencies have been sold to the Big Four holding companies for between $10 million and $100 million in the last 5 years alone. The founders, real people, not billionaires, not celebrities, walked away with life-changing money. Then there is the disintermediation threat. The reason you cannot start a generic ad agency in 2026 and expect the old economics to work. Beginning around 2010, Google and later Meta built self-serve advertising platforms, the interfaces that let a small business buy Google search ads or Facebook feed ads directly, with a credit card, no agency required. Over the next 14 years, Google and Meta captured approximately 60% of all US digital advertising spend, most of it flowing directly from advertiser to platform with no intermediary. Small and medium-sized businesses that used to hire local ad agencies for their yellow pages and radio and newspaper buys now buy directly. The Big Four survived by retaining Fortune 500 clients who still need integration across dozens of channels, plus creative production, plus data strategy. The kinds of accounts too complex for a founder with a self-serve dashboard. In 2024, a Swedish payments company called Klarna publicly announced it had replaced approximately $10 million of external agency spend with in-house generative AI tools. The industry noticed. Generative AI plus self-serve platforms plus in-housing consultants means the next decade of ad agency competition looks nothing like the previous one. Which means the ad agency you can actually start today is not a general creative shop, it is a specialty. Then there is the specialty exit playbook. The specific version of this business that actually makes a first-time founder a millionaire in 10 years. Step 1. Pick a vertical you know cold: healthcare, financial services, e-commerce direct-to-consumer. business-to-business software, cannabis, cryptocurrency, luxury real estate, defense contracting, pharmaceuticals. The narrower, the better. Big Four agencies do not have deep specialty. That is your moat. Step 2. Get one anchor client at a market rate retainer of $5,000 to $15,000 a month. Prove you deliver. Ask for a referral. Repeat. Step 3. Hire only people who are better than you at their specific job. Do not hire generalists. Step 4. Once you cross $5 million in annual revenue and 30 employees, hire a chief operating officer whose job is to make the business saleable. Clean books, recurring revenue contracts, documented processes, named succession plan. Step 5. When you cross 10 million in revenue with strong margins in a hot specialty, holding companies will find you. They will offer you 2 to 5 times revenue. Step 6. Take the deal. Founders who hold out for higher multiples usually watch their business decline while they wait. The math works. 10 million in revenue sold at 3.5 times is $35 million in enterprise value. If you own 80% after any minority investors, you personally walk with 28 million. 10 to 15 years of work for a 9-figure life change. So look at what you would actually be building if you started an ad agency tomorrow. You would not be building a creative empire. You would be building a specialty roll-up target. You would be hiring the best specialists you can find in one narrow vertical, delivering reliable retainer work, keeping clean financial records, and holding on for the big 3 acquisition call. Martin Sorrell built a $30 billion company by buying an existing shopping cart shell and stacking acquisitions on top of it. David Droga built a $475 million exit by building one great agency in one great specialty for 15 years. Both paths still exist. Both make founders millionaires. Neither requires a creative genius. Starting an ad agency can make you a millionaire. It just does not make you one because you're an artist. It makes you one because you're an operator.